This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Live tonight for the virtual Five Flags Speedway. We say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to LSR TV's coverage of night number 1 of the second annual Snowball Showdown presented by Murder Creek Distillery. Happy that you're with us on your home for sim racing and the iRacing Esports Network from Pensacola, Florida, for the iSupport STR 100. As we'll be with you over the course of the next 5 nights for a ton of short track racing action, and it all starts this evening with Street Stock Night. Happy that you're with us. Myself, Evan Pasoko, and Justin Prince with you in the LSR TV booth, along with our producer downstairs, Hugo Louise, and there is a ton of great action, Justin, coming up tonight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way through the end of this week. We're going to give away a lot of trophies and a lot of cash and prizes for the second installment of the Snowball Showdown, but it all starts this evening with the first night. Cars have been on track since noon this afternoon for the first sportsman practice of the week. Of course, we're with you tonight for the iSupport STR 100 first main event of the week.
It's going to be a great week of action here, Evan. A stacked field of drivers, not just on the iRacing service with the best from that side, but you have a mix of drivers from real world, even here at Five Flags Speedway. You've got drivers who are young up-and-comers, who are rising up to the ranks. It's going to be an absolutely competitive night of racing, an absolute competitive week. More than 100 drivers in total registered throughout the weeks leading up to today's Snowball Showdown opener. It should be an absolutely fun one tonight.
And of course, tonight is the kickoff for all of this action. We'll talk more about what you're going to see over the course of this week here on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Also happy that you're joining in with us if you're tuning in through Facebook Live and the Snowball Showdown as we get set for a lot of exciting action. Of course, qualifying right now is underway, so everybody down trackside, single car qualifying, 2 laps. Everybody will make it into the show this evening, and as we get to some of the feature races later on this week, you'll see the likes of LCQ races and whatnot, but tonight everybody knows that they will be in this 100-lap main event. It is all about qualifying, and let's talk about some of the specific rules, Justin, for tonight specifically unique compared to what we'll see for the rest of the week. Tonight, everybody running fixed setups and no tires can be added to these cars. So you want to talk about track position already being key enough in short track racing. I think tonight's format specifically puts a little bit of extra importance on those 2 key laps that you got.
Absolutely, and don't forget, no tire changes allowed this night. Meaning there's going to be the importance of tire conservation. If you burn up your equipment early, you're going to drop back towards the end of the race. So these drivers needing to make sure they understand how these cars run throughout the entire practice. They were running in the 17.7s to 8 throughout the entire session, expecting the same tonight. And it's going to get interesting by the end of this race to see how the drivers react on those worn pieces of rubber as they come to the checker flag.
A lot of big names as well competing in this event. You're watching Alex McCollum going through his qualifying on the racetrack right now. That was a very good car through practice sessions today, as he tries to get his time at a board, and he will jump up pretty high. Dallas Pataska, another big name. So everybody in this time of year, Justin, looking to compete in these premier short track events of the iRacing service, and I think you would be hard-pressed to find any bigger than this second annual Snowball Showdown. 5 nights of action, all of them live here on LSR TV.
Yeah, this is the most stacked field I've seen for an event such as this in my entire broadcasting career at iRacing. It's going to be an absolutely competitive week of action, but it all starts with tonight's action now.
And the qualifying session has drawn to a close, so let's go trackside and take a look at tonight's LSR TV starting grid for the iSupport STR 100. Only one driver was able to get down into the 17.7s, and it was Max Cookson who will bring us to the green flag tonight from pole position, and Alex McCollum will be right there with them on the front row. The 10 car starts in second position. Dallas Pataska not that much further back. He'll be inside of row 2 in third position on the grid this evening, and Russell McCarron alongside him, the 99 car rolling from P4. Then behind them, it's the 67 of Aaron Plemons. He'll round out your top 5.
Yeah, Plemons, the fastest car in final practice. He'll start alongside the man second in that practice session, Ryan Kuhn. JJ Day, a real-world track veteran here at Five Flags Speedway, multi-time pole sitter in the local version of the Snowball Derby, starts 7 alongside John Ballou. Rocky Boy the third and Cody Hubrid rounds out the top 10.
Continuing on through, Joseph Ruggiero will be P11 and Charles Lahr starting in the number 12 position. Then you'll find the number 5 of Cameron Bristler in 13th. Mitch Rollo will start from P14 and Brandon Holder in 15th.
It is Rob Slider in the 16th position tonight, fall behind by Blake Neer and Tyler Burden. Dustin Slider starts in the 19th position, and he'll start right beside Jaden Dahlberg in P number 20.
Frank Morales will be P21 along with Colton Dixon 22nd, Brad Neer 23rd, and then one driver to take the provisional. It'll be Marcus Fruchtenich at the very back, 24th in final spot on the grid as we get set to roll into the Pensacola night. This iSupport STR 100 brought to you, of course, by iSupport STR, a Facebook page that specializes in promoting online short track racing. Whether it's highlighting a dirt racer or helping promote an event like the Snowball Showdown, iSupport STR lives for short track racing. You can give them a like on Facebook today. Lights are out on top of the iRacing.com official pace car. We are set to drop the green flag on night number 1. The second annual Snowball Showdown presented by Murder Creek Distillery, and we're happy that you're going to be a part of this special event with us right here and right now on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Pace car to go down and in. It'll be Max J. Cookson's field to control as we come to turn number 4. Green flag in the air. Let's go racing at Five Flags.
And a good start to this race, already for the top two of the best drivers on the service in the street stocks. But keep an eye on that battle going on behind. Multiple drivers trying to rush their way to the bottom and already contact the mid-pack.
And problems with an early caution flag in this one. The 44 of Charles Lahr up against the fence. That is the first Barber Ford caution flag of the evening. And it does involve the 44 machine. Ironically enough, the Barber Ford sponsored Mustang. The LSR TV replay will show it, Justin. Just a little bit of checking up on the outside line. Nobody really did anything wrong. 44 car just checked up a bit late because the two cars in front of him on the outside line were nose to tail and lost a little bit of speed on the entry. He checked up, and then the 96 behind Tim wasn't able to lower down either, and just a little bit of an accordion effect sends him around. Looks like that 96 also, Mitch Rollo, 6'9" rather, gets some damage in the exchange too.
Yes, indeed, and exactly what happened there was about a 16+ mile-an-hour difference in speed, and they weren't expecting what was happening, and you need to keep an eye on what's going on in front of you at a short track such as this, or else you're going to see checkups like that all night, already under the caution flag for the first time tonight. And these drivers not really putting too much heat in these tires. Remember, this is the V7 tire model in iRacing, meaning the importance of tire heating and tire management is going to pop up all throughout this entire race tonight.
And it's already been a factor with the iRacing dynamic track surface for quite some time, but that V7 tire has started to slowly roll its way out to more and more vehicles on the surface. And of course, this street stock, one of those cars that has gotten the treatment, so that may not be the story for all of the competitions and all of the nights of racing that we will see. But certainly these street stocks are with those new tires. I'm curious how much of the testing that has been going on, not only this evening, because I mentioned for today's schedule, these cars have been on track since noon, but also, for practice leading up to this. Curious how much time these drivers have put in these cars under the lights here in Pensacola to try to figure out this tire, because again, what you've got on the race car now is what you're going to have to go the distance with. No tires can be added in this iSupport STR 100. So first restart coming up on the night. Max Tuxen will get to go when he hits the DRS restart zone in 4. It's his field to control. Green flag back in the air. 5 laps down behind in a fight for third.
And a good launch once again, just inside that real restart zone here at Five Flag Speedway. But Dallas Pataska fighting alongside Clemens at this point. But here comes J.J. Day Jr. He's trying to push his way inside the top 5.
He wants to be a part of this fight, and he is very aggressive at the back end of Pataska. It ends up being side by side for fourth. Oh, and into the fence is the 67 of Plemons. Aaron Plemons overdrove it a little bit on the outside of that battle. That was a good lick to the fence. He hangs on to it, but it'll cost him the spot. He'll drop to P5, and it is Day now and Pataska third and fourth. And an Ani 8 car made it happen on the bottom. He is on the charge early.
And you got to remember, that is a real-world veteran here at the Five Flag Speedway, a teammate with McCarron, and someone that has won championships at this facility. He knows the ins and outs of this racetrack. And we speaking with Ben Kilcrease about him, he will know a lot as the Barber Ford caution flag comes out.
Second one of the evening, and again, it is going to be problems towards the back of the pack. It looks like Cody Hubred may be the main driver involved in this one. It looks like that is the case, as we'll show on the LSR TV replay. I don't really think it was that intentional on behalf of the 13 machine, but it looked like not really 2 or 3 wide there, Justin. Just a small peek to the inside. More so, really, the 20 just pushed up a little bit, and I really don't think it was an attempt to go 3 wide. I think it was just that small bobble checked him up a little bit, and the contact sent the 20 car around.
Yeah, he had a massive bobble. In fact, exactly what it is. It's a heck of a job to try and hold on to there, but just nowhere for him to go. Just try and keep it balanced. These cars can get a little bit squirrely in the first couple laps of a tire cycle, and that's what we've seen from Slider there that time. He'll have to start at the back of the field, and Ryan Kuhn is pit.
Yeah, an interesting situation here with the 72 car coming down to pit lane. He'll obviously give up all of the track position that he was holding at the time of the caution flag. He was scored in position number 8. No tires can be added in this, so you could assume that it was probably a damage stop. Of course, you could also add some fuel into the mix as well if you would like, but I mean, it didn't look like the car was in dire needs.
Yeah, it didn't look like anything was wrong with the car. No damage. I think maybe it was just either wanting to stay out of the potential hornet's nest, because a lot of drivers were expecting to push towards the front of the field for tonight's action, or if he felt like he needed fuel to add balance to the race car for the long run. Interesting call. Moves him from the top 5 all the way back to 23rd.
So that'll obviously put a damper in the start of his race. We talked so much in the early going here about the importance of track position, and you definitely do not want to be going in that opposite direction very early on in this iSupport STR 100. Again, fixed setups, no tires. That'll change starting with tomorrow night's coverage for night 2 of the second annual Snowball Showdown. Same time, 9 Eastern, right here, LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network for the DRS Pro Series 150. That's when it really starts to open up. That'll be an open setup race with 4 tires available. available. That's just night 2 of, again, 5 total nights of action. Street stocks, first night under the lights for us here from Five Flags. So let's go back out on top of the pace car, and no changes up front. It'll still be Max Cookson alongside Alex McCollum, but watch out for JJ Day down on the inside of row 2 in 3rd position. Started 7th, has driven his way up to 3rd, and 98 has been very aggressive at the inside. Maybe he can catch a good restart following Cookson through the DRS restart zone. Let's see how the 39 car will play this one as they roll out of 4. Green flag back in the air. Both cars front row with a good jump down to 1. Cookson clearing for the race lead.
Cleveland's actually gave a shot to JJ Day that time into turn 1. Already a forfeit, already car spinning.
Another caution flag from the back for the 3rd Barber Ford caution of the night, and they're going to get it straightened out pretty quickly this time around. But you saw the smoke from the 5 of Cameron Preisler, in the battle for position. He just kind of tried to make a transition from the top of the track to bottom, and Russell McCarron in the 99 was there. 5 car kind of came across his nose as McCarron was trying to get down on the bottom of him to cut it too.
Yeah, it just looked like he pushed up a little bit. McCarron did, though, as well on the entry. Maybe not expecting that to happen. And I don't think he was meaning to help him around, to spin him around, but it ends up bringing the caution flag out. A couple drivers with some damage, but nothing severe from the looks of it for most of the drivers. Everybody else behind them got through cleanly.
Yeah, that one you're able to get away with. So many times you get cars turned around like that, and they kind of go all the way up to the wall, and you could see it on some of those angles, that when the 5 actually kind of got tangled up with the 44 there, I believe it was, in the center of the corner, they almost straightened each other out. They didn't go all the way up to the fence. He spun, and it was the 14, who kind of got hooked in there, and then actually righted the ship. So it could have been a lot worse. McCarron is going to be assessed the cause, though, of that incident. So he'll be given the end of the longest line penalty. He will drop to the back, and that's another way to find yourself losing track position, is to be the cause of an incident. Because keep in mind, 3 very early yellows in this race, Justin, but we're already at lap 18 of 100. So 100 laps at Five Flag Speedway is a lot of corners. A lot can happen, don't get me wrong. But when yellows take 4 or so laps out of it, you really can't afford those mistakes early on. If somebody on the front row top 5 were to make that, I don't know how successful they'd be getting all the way back to where they started as the lights go out.
Yeah, especially if it keeps on coming a caution type of race. It's going to make it very difficult to even make any passes on the racetrack. So right now, some of those drivers might be hoping, please stay green so we can get into a rhythm and try and get something together on the long run, because every time they've entered the DRS restart zone tonight, it's been immediately as the pace car goes off, Cookson's been able to hit that gas.
And let's see if he's going to stay picture perfect again. He's got Day all over the bumper, and he'll give him a shot that time at a 4 through the DRS restart zone. We're back underway, and another good run. Cookson leading McCollum into turns 1 and 2. So the fight again will be for 3rd, and it is Aaron Plemons who clipped the fence a couple of runs ago on the outside, trying to take that spot back from David. It will not happen. The 98 car clear on the bottom, and then here's the crossover. He'll go right back to the inside, but backs out of it on the entry to 1.
Remember, Plemons and Day had a bit of contact in the last time they battled for position. That time, Plemons giving him the spot on the bottom line. He didn't get fully to the door. Race code basically says if you're at that quarter panel like that, you have to back off in short track racing. And meanwhile, some drivers are going the opposite of that code in the battle for 5th position.
You do have these side-by-side battles. This one sees Joseph Ruggiero on the inside. He'll get around Rocky Boyd the 3rd for that position. So the 07 up another. Both Ruggiero and Blake Neer started outside of the top 10, and they've been big movers. Neer has gone 17th to 7th, and even a little bit further behind, Dustin Slider's gone 19th to 9th. So a couple of drivers picking up spots early in the going here, but things are tightening up at the very front of the field. Cookson still atop McCollum, but it is now a 3-way battle because Day has closed in from 3rd, and even Plemons from P4 not that far back either. So your top 2 unable to really pull away on this run like they have on some of the other restarts.
Yeah, JJ Day is actually the quickest car on the racetrack last time by, but the fastest lap just set by Joseph Ruggiero in the 07 machine. So there's a chance this could become a 5-car fight for the race lead. But eventually, somebody's going to have to make the move to dive to the inside, get to the quarter panel, and hope they can squeeze on the bottom line. Because there is still a ways to go. The main reason these drivers aren't risking that kind of a move yet, though, is because, well, there's 74 laps to go. You don't want to make enemies early or cause damage as they're bumper to bumper heading down the front stretch.
Yeah, only being quarter distance now with lap number 26 to the wayside of 100 in this street stock main event. There's a lot of time to go, and it made me wonder, with Davey, one of the faster cars, if not the fastest on the track, to catch up to McCollum and Cookson. You know, how patient is he going to be here? The 10 car went a little bit wide out of 4, and he'll go right down to the inside. So side by side for second position, it is Day inside of McCollum, and both these drivers probably hoping that this sorts itself out sooner than later, and it will. The 98 car on through to a race high second position. He'll now set his sights on McCollum, who was led all the way, and he was right on the bumper that time in the center.
Looked like that time he let him know he's right there, and it's an interesting line from Day. He's actually trying to dime in the corner, but he's actually checking up majorly for Cookson. Here comes McCollum on the inside.
Oh, and it was a game of chicken, and James Day is going to get moved up out of the way as that was McCollum back to the bottom. JJ Day hangs on to it, but not before McCollum and Plemons get through on the inside. So just like that, the 98 lost out in exactly the same way that he took advantage of McCollum. He just washed up a little bit and opened the inside. That's how he got P2, and that's how he lost it. And he'll try to make his way back forwards now, right back to the inside of the 67, and Plemons doesn't put up much of a fight.
And it's going to be interesting to see what does Day Jr. elect to do when he gets the back bumper of McCollum. He's quickly become one of the fastest cars on the track. In fact, in the 18.2s, everybody else is in the 18.4s and 5s, it seems. He's not afraid to use the bumper either, as well as a bit of that flat in turn 4 exit to try and help the car rotate.
Well, I think that the way that these drivers are racing answered our question with how patient were they going to be, as McCollum wants to go all the way, flashed a nose to the inside of Cookson, but did not end up getting the positioning. And you wonder that the 10 car is probably feeling the pressure from behind. If he doesn't make a move on Cookson soon, then that 98 of JJ Day behind him is going to be all over him and to his inside. So I think ideally McCollum would kind of like to run around here P2, but because you got 4 cars stacked up on each other, if you're not making a move, you're going to be on the defensive. Here's the 98 again, and McCollum throws the block into the corner. There's a little bit of contact, and payback is served. This time it's Day who moves McCollum out of the way for a second.
Using the chrome horn that time, he wasn't happy with the block from McCollum, some of that contact before. And I wouldn't be surprised if JJ Day isn't as patient with Cookson. Some of these drivers might feel that they're being held up. In fact, it looks like he's going to try and get to the bottom as quick as he can.
Yeah, this is obviously the preferred lane down on the inside of the racetrack. We really haven't seen any cars in these street stocks be able to use the outside to fight back. And, you know, of course, battling going on all throughout the pack. You can see the entire running order going across at the top of your screen. But here we go for the lead again. The 98's got the spot. He'll drive it in hard to the inside of Cookson, side by side for the lead. And for the first time tonight, new race leader JJ Day. He'll go to the top of the scoring pylon. Cookson stays P2. He'll try to fight back down to the inside in 3, but it's not going to happen. And now there's some lap traffic in front.
Yeah, that is John Ballou. That's going to have to find a way to get out of the way. These drivers all prefer the bottom, and all of a sudden, it's turned a 6-car fight for the front. It looks like he's going to give him the bottom side. It's going to be interesting how traffic management will be. A majority of the field is on the same half of the racetrack.
And you can see the 62 will hold the fence, so it's going to force everybody to siphon down to the inside. Did mess up the quarter entry a little bit for Cookson and McCollum there, 2-3. Day got a little bit better off being cleared before the entry, but it isn't going to hurt him that much at all. And this time by 40 laps down, from Five Flag Speedway. It's J.J. Day Jr. in front after Cookson led the first 36 laps from pole. And now we're starting to see the 98 open up a race lead just a little bit over that trio. And now even make it a quintuplet there. 4 cars in the battle. You could even toss the 16 to Rocky Boyd. A big string of cars in this fight for second on back.
At this point, the eNASCAR Ignite Series champion and Cookson is really struggling long run. He is a tenth slower than the race leader, and everybody is now feeling like they're faster, but no one's willing to use the bumper quite yet. Somebody's going to have to do something here to move Cookson off the bottom, or else they're going to potentially lose J.J. Day if this race stays green.
And that's obviously not what these drivers want to happen. You want to make the moves quick. Look at this one. Ruggiero to the inside of Plebons. This will be a fight for 4th and 5th spot. And once you get the inside positioning, it's A-OK. Ruggiero gets the spot. Now in front of them, McCollum back to the inside of Cookson. He hasn't been able to get around the 39 all night until now. He'll get back to second. First time dropping the 39 car as low as P3.
And now becomes the question, what will the multi-time Legends champion in the mid-2010s in McCollum do? He is one of the more interesting drivers in the service, specializes in this type of racing, in the street stocks, in the Legends cars, in the modifieds. And right now, he's going to have to see if he can keep up with James Day Jr. He's able to run the track much quicker. He's actually using the banking, the 98 machine, to try and rotate, while McCollum hasn't dared to go to that same line. He's trying to match the line, but just can't get the same amount of rotation in 4 especially to close the gap.
And that last time by, the fastest lap today up front by a 1/10 of a second, an 18.547 to a 6.37 for McCollum. So the car out in front is enjoying that clean air, and James Day Jr. wants to try to run away with this one. Kind of elongated battle in the back of the pack. Ruggiero and Boyd, they were leaning on each other a few laps back. You saw that at the tail end of this top 5 breakaway. All 24 cars, though, who started this race still on track. Only John Ballew has gotten lapped. He was the 62 machine. You saw your race leaders get around not all that long ago, but almost halfway home already in this iSupport STR 100. And J.J. Day flexed his muscles out in front.
And it looks like an unscheduled stop for Dallas Pataska. He ducked down on the pit lane, and he was in the fight in the mid-pack, was one of the drivers inside the top 10 just a few laps ago. He has now pulled it into the pit lane of the 23.
He did come down. He had lost some positions after starting in 3rd. He was running in position number 12, and he decided to come down to the pit lane. Dallas Pataska, one of those big names in this Snowball Showdown, has opted to come to pit road at the halfway point in the iSupport STR 100. So now officially past that halfway point, and we start to count down to the end of night 1 of this 2nd annual Snowball Showdown, presented by Murder Creek Distillery, and a caution flag just as Day started to run away, and it's a huge wreck in turn 1.
Yeah, Barber Ford caution flag up on the circuit, and one car got flipped up towards the sky. That was Cameron Pressler.
Yeah. The 5 car, we had been talking about him for a lot tonight, Justin, battling for 10th and 11th spot. He had just gotten passed, I think, by Dustin Slider, and then kind of gave him a shot back to the bumper and actually overdrove quarter 4 on his own. The yellow comes out then, but then he got hit again. I think it was Colton Hicks.
Yeah, he just ended up overdriving the car. You can do that where you're following someone's line and then instinctively follow somebody's middle of the bumper instead of quarter panel to quarter panel, and just nowhere for Colton Ickes to go as he launched that 5 machine hard off his front end and blew his motor.
So that'll end both of their nights, as they'll have to take a tow to the pit lane. And even if they had the ability to get those cars fixed on the pit lane, you're going to be so far out of the race that your hopes are done anyways. Again, this is the point where you would typically expect to see cars to come down for service, but again, no tires available in this street stock main event. Everybody running fixed sets. So the biggest thing this does for Day is, of course, eliminate that huge lead that he had just grown on the rest of the field, Justin. So with the inability to come down to the pit lane to get a modification on that race car, to get a new set of tires on there, what is McCollum and Plebons, even Cookson? I mean, these cars that are fast cars, but clearly on that last run, the longest green flag run we've seen of the night before another Barber Ford caution flag. I mean, what can they do to counter that 98 car speed? Because he looked incredible when he got out front.
Well, there's two questions to that sub-question, essentially. Can they find a way to work their way through the speed? And two, did they save their tires during the last run? They were running fairly hard, yes. But their hope, I think, is, did JJ Day burn up too much of his stuff trying to pull up an advantage thinking it was going to stay green? And can they cool their tires enough or have enough tire wear left to try and close in the 98 machine this run? And don't forget, they've been not afraid to use the chrome horn on this track because of how important that bottom line is. I expect to see a little bit more of that as this race closes in to the boards to finish.
Lights go out on top of the pace car. We get set for restart with 43 laps to go. Reminder, the top 10 positions in this race finish in the money. That includes a $75 prize to the winner, $50 to second, $25 to third, $15 to fourth, $10 to fifth, and $5 for the rest of your top 10. So a lot on the line, even though it is just night one of this Snowball Showdown. Pace car off and away, and it is JJ Day launching for the DRS restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and immediately a challenge for second. It's Plymouth to the inside in contact with McCollum. He'll tag the 10, and he's going to go up and over on the back straightaway.
And this is a massive Barber Ford caution. My goodness.
It all kind of unraveled there at a turn two, and in all honesty, we had seen harder contact than that tonight, but we really hadn't seen a battle for second right off of the restart. So it was Plymouth with the dive to the bottom, and I think he did push up, but it was ever in the slightest. And the problem, if you're the 10 of McCollum, is it was just right on that quarter panel. He didn't stand a chance, and the innocent victim of that one was the 07 of Joseph Ruggiero also.
Yeah, McCollum tried to hold his line. It was just very tight, actually door tie contact on that one, but nowhere for McCollum to go once he started sliding except lock it up. Just got the right angle to flip it over, but multiple drivers now with damage, including many of the top runners. Rocky Boyd the third now with significant damage on his front of his race car. This could change the complexion of the mid-pack.
And certainly this is going to hurt these drivers, and if we do see a penalty assessed, possibly an EOL penalty, if it is assessed to Plebons, that hurts him. And all of this is only good news for Day. You do see some drivers coming down to the pit lane. Also noting that Colton Ikes has dropped out of this race, so his night will end as he goes to the garage. Pataska did so recently, and there it is, the EOL penalty to Aaron Plebons, who will have to give up second on track. And all of a sudden, if I'm JJ Day, the 3 cars behind me on that restart are gone in the blink of an eye.
Yes, and this changes completely the complexion of this race now, as Plemon's going to have to drop to the back of the field. Alex McCollum also given an NAOL, so they've given 50-50 credit for that incident here, Evan. That's going to change things up.
Yeah, that's also going to really hurt things as well. So that continues to shuffle up the running order. Of course, he was already in a troublesome position having been involved in the incident. But McCollum now going to have to be all the way behind any lap traffic that's out on track. And this caution exchange is going to take a little bit longer as everybody towards the back of the field gets sorted out. So how about this opportunity for Max Cookson, who started on to pole, led the opening 36 laps. He had kind of dropped off as of recently, and maybe had fallen down to a 4th or 5th fastest car. Well, with all those drivers in front of him gone, all of a sudden he'll be on the outside of the front row for the restart, and Blake Neer from 17th on the grid, he'll be in 3rd.
And remember, he got some front end damage before, and that damage hasn't slowed him down in terms of pace. He's been one of the quicker cars on the racetrack. And also, look who's in fourth, Evan. It's Ryan Kuhn, who, remember, pit to load up on fuel and dropped to the back. You have to wonder if he had a sense of what was about to happen at this point of the race, or at least expected earlier on. Now, it's going to get interesting to see what he does.
He's not able to get a good start on the outside, so all three cars in front, single file through. It's Day, Cookson, and Nier. With the 72 car, though, looking to the inside in three, trying to make it a fight. He'll do it. With the 14 car really playing its luck there and pinching that 72 off on corner exit. He'll force, though, to the inside, so we'll fight for third as they get right on each other's door. That time at a 2, but it looks like Kuhn's got the spot.
And a good move that time for the ACT blatant tour driver, essentially, to move up to that P3. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does now. He's been waiting in the back, maybe saving his equipment as the caution comes out.
It is another Barber Ford caution flag, not that far removed from a restart, and we'll see where the incident comes from. Looks like it started with the 06 machine of Tyler Burden. He may have been the first one to go around, and it looks like the LSR TV replay will indeed confirm, Justin, that he was another one of those cases where he really wasn't all the way down low, kind of changed lanes on corner entry, and the 07 to Joseph Ruggiero, talk about a double whammy of bad luck. He's the one who got into the back of him.
Yeah, not expecting that. Just tried to get into the brakes as hard as he could. Didn't mean to make the contact, but Burden wanted the bottom. 2 cars wanted the spot, and eventually you make contact. Unfortunately, a couple other drivers were just involved in the air wreck as well. Also getting front-end damage. Ruggiero does get the EOL.
So he'll go all the way down and get the end of the longest line of penalties, so he will join basically all of those other drivers at the back where he just was. So he's not going to lose much. In fact, Ruggiero forced to pit road to try to get some repairs just to see if his car can make it to the end of night 1 of this second annual Snowball Showdown. Coverage presented by Murder Creek Distillery, located in Brewton, Alabama, and serving the panhandle of Florida. Murder Creek Distillery specializes in a variety of moonshine flavors. If you're on the panhandle, check your local liquor store for Murder Creek products today, and you can check them out online for more info to see how you can get their products shipped directly to your door. Presenting sponsor of this second annual Snowball Showdown. Of course, tons of action still to come this week on LSR TV and the iRacing Sports Network. The DRS Pro Series 150 tomorrow night, 9 Eastern. Again, right back here on the network. Friday, we have the BK Paints 175. That is modifieds on track. Saturday, you'll see the Pro Late models competing in the tobacco-free Florida 227. And it all wraps up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time on Sunday, with the Super Lates take to the track for the main event, the Snowball Showdown, presented by Murder Creek Distillery. But we still have over $100 in purse. In fact, over $150 in purse, Justin, on the line for this street stock main event that is only 30 laps away from seeing the checkers.
And there's a chance we see multiple drivers fight for this win. JJ Day, obviously the favorite at this point, with the way he's been running one of the fastest, if not the fastest cars on the track. But you got to keep an eye on Cookson to see, can he try and rebound after he might have burned up his equipment early? And what did Ryan Kuhn do to save his equipment in the back? Is he going to be able to attack JJ Day up at the front? So it's going to be interesting to see, will they use the chrome horns, or will they be able to battle a mano-a-mano in these final 29 laps?
Pace car's going to head off and in this time. Let's see how they navigate the restart, as it is JJ Day out of the DRS restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and it is a good run for Cookson. He'll look for the crow horn, and one gave him a little bit of a nudge, but doesn't move him out of the way. So single file down the back. It's Day, Cookson, and Kuhn, 1, 2, and 3.
And this is going to get interesting. JJ Dale starting to push a bit. Cookson actually danced off the corner, and it looks like he's not afraid to use the bumper.
Well, we've seen the speed difference. You gotta get on him before he can get away. Cookson looks high, looks low. He'll try to find any way he can to get positioning on JJ Day at the front of the field. And Cookson's feeling the heat from behind because Kuhn, Neer, McCarron, they are all stacked up on him with the 39 car aggressive off of the get-go, looking to the inside again. Still can't get the spot. And now Day has got a little bit of breathing room as he pulled a car length and a half on him.
Yeah, Cookson had to lift off the gas to make sure he can make it off the corner. And the question is, what will Kuhn and Neer do? They're getting stacked up. And don't forget, the teammate for Day, Rusty McCarron, is now inside the top 5 for the first time since the start of this race.
He started P4, slipped back a little bit, but the 99 car back inside of the top 5. He's a little bit further off of this kind of three-way group now for second, third, and fourth. And I totally agreed with what Cookson was going for there on the restart, because you can see Day gets that car length and a half. Unless that 98 makes a mistake, Justin, I don't know if the 39's got the car to catch up to 98. Day has been picture perfect up front. So right off of the restart, got to the bumper, and he really didn't hit him that hard. I mean, he gave him a couple of shots, don't get me wrong, but he didn't move him up and out of the race lane. I feel like if they have another restart, or if he gets back to the bumper here as he closes it back down to just a car length, the next time he may be a little bit more assertive, and Cookson has got to run, closing that gap back down out at 2/10.
And I think he might have saved some tires in the middle portion of the run as he was dropping back from the lead. And now that he's got the perfect chance, he is now faster, the fastest car on the racetrack. What will he do to get to the bottom side? We've seen again that bump and run. It might come down to that. He's trying to diamond that corner like JJ Day did in the short run, and he's got to run.
It's working. 20 laps to go. There's a shot to the bumper 2-3 times as he'll move Day up and out of the way. Cookson to the inside. They'll fight for the race lead. Coming to 20 laps to go in the iSupport STR 100. Third place, Ryan Kuhn watches on as JJ Day stays in front on the outside that time. Now another door slam. Cookson finally gets through. They'll beat and bang for second, and an 98 car takes a swipe at him again. No holds bar for the lead, and now it's Kuhn to the inside.
And Kuhn having a heck of a run. Looks like Cookson gonna give him the spot as he finally sees more contact behind.
Day got moved up as it was the 14 of Blake Neer into third. The 99 of McCarron goes through, and JJ Day drops like a rock. He'll fall outside of the top 4. Still for the race lead. Cooks it on the inside. Kuhn on the outside. That 72 car, the only reason why Day didn't get back to the 39 when he went for payback was that Kuhn had filled that second spot quickly. He went all the way to the race lead, but I think Cookson's got the better line down low, and he will go back to the race lead, coming to 16 to go.
And don't look now, look who's battling for the 5th position at the back end of this train. Brandon Holder, he was in the bottom half of the final practice, has damage on the 05 machine, just slid up into the top 5. So he's now one of your biggest movers, plus 10 in the race.
And talking about movers, how about Marcus Fruchtinek? He started 24th at a 24 cars. He was the only driver to not take the time to qualify. He has now driven his way up to position number 7, and he wants more as he'll go to the inside of the 05 of Holder. A little bit of contact, but takes it away. So a lot of drivers here as Fruchtinek follows the 99 through, using the chrome horn and going at it late. But your top 3 are still all stacked up in a row. Cookson, Kuhn, and Neer, 1, 2, 3, with JJ Day Jr. 4. No, contact. Cookson's gonna get loosened up after Kuhn got sent into him off of the nose of Blake Neer. Just like that, Max Cookson, he'll fall for the race lead to 4.
And I was about to say, it looked like there were 3-car bump drafting down the straights as more contact.
Now it's the 98 getting pushed through. There's a lot of contact, and it's going to be too much. JJ Day is into the inside wall, but he is off of the racing surface. No, there it is. The Barber Ford caution flag, and that car is on its lid.
I don't know how that happens on the last part, but here's what happened in the first part. They were fighting so hard. Remember the contact from behind? And JJ Day's not been afraid to use the bumper. Got hit by Cookson and then Near. He didn't like that. He actually bumped a little bit, endured him on the left side of his car and sent Day down onto the apron as he backed it up. And then I'm not sure what to say about the last part.
Well, this all goes back to when it was Cookson who moved Day for the race lead. The 98 wanted to get back at him, and he could not really get retribution. So that time, he was driving it in hard to the inside of the 14. 2 tires down on the apron, and the 98 car, I think the frustration got the best of him there. Then he gets the yellow, obviously wants to get back going very quickly, whips that car around and actually hooks it up on the transition from the pavement to the grass. And that little bit of frustration to force that car around instead of just backing it up onto the racing surface and continuing is why he'll drop out of this race entirely. But what an incredible 20-lap stretch. Back and forth for the lead. And now we reset for a restart inside of 10 to go.
And this is going to get wild between these drivers. Some of these drivers, teammates or former teammates, in fact. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be an absolute dogfight. Kuhn has had some speed in the late run, especially since he might have saved in that mid portion of the back of the field. Near's been having a stellar run with that damage, and Cookson, remember, has been a fixture up at the front. He saved a little bit, it seemed, in the mid portion of this race. So any of those 3 drivers can win it. And don't forget, Russell McCarron in the 98 machine starts in P4. He's Day's teammate. He can make it interesting.
All of these new faces entering the picture. You only have Kuhn in first, Cookson third, and McCarron fourth. Top 10 drivers that actually started in the top 10 in this race. So you want to rewind the tape and listen to us talking about how important the track position was, Justin. We look silly because Brad Near's got a very good opportunity to win it from 17th. You got Fruchtenich again from 24th. He'll be P5. All of these drivers with a shot if this restarts anywhere near as crazy as the last one was.
Well, here's the thing. He's made it first off through that big one that happened to the mid-pack, and second, he's been able to overcome his own damage and just quietly move his way through the field and pick off car after car. The cautions have come to the right time as well. He got the preferred line a lot of these times for the restarts. And now in this DRS restart zone, he gets to start on the outside against Kuhn.
Let's see if this is going to be the final restart of the night as we go to the DRS restart zone. 7 laps to go at 5 flags. It's Ryan Kuhn who will lead to turn 1, and he's got a fight behind him, which is a great sight to see. Cookson very quickly, though, makes the pass on Near for second. He'll try to catch now a 2-car length disadvantage.
And a couple cars are bumping and banging in 3 and 4. This might get a bit dicey.
In the yellow, of course, we'll check things up. They're going to be 3 wide, back in the pack, a ton of contact. The 050 holder into the fence in turn 2, but we stay green as the race leaders come by. 5 to go in the iSupport STR 100.
And it's going to be the question, could Cook close up the gap? Max Cookson currently about a car length back, but Blake Near is the fastest car on the racetrack. Will he use the chrome horn to get by the 39?
The 39 again was able to get around Near quickly off for the restart. The 14 machine didn't put up much of a fight now, but if Cookson can't find that extra bite, is it going to be Kuhn who comes in late and steals this one? Blake Near, the longer he waits, the further he'll see the 72 car run away in front of him. 3 laps to go.
And it just looks like Kuhn is a bit more comfortable. He wasn't as quick as Cookson last time by, but they're going to have to deal with the lap car who just spun. That's Rob Slater, who has to move to the high side. Looks like he won't be a factor coming to this 2 to go mark.
Yeah, you got to watch out. He'll hold the outside, and it does hurt the 39 a little bit on entry. Popsicle 6 in the air, 2 to go from 5 flags. Cookson is close, but is he going to be close enough to use the chrome horn? He still needs to find 1 single car length as we see the white flag in the air. final lap in the street stock main event. Kuhn's gonna hold the bottom. Cook's in second, Near in third. The 39 gets the gap down. Does he send it into 3? He's gonna get close, but not close enough. And it is Ryan Kuhn who hangs on and wins the Ice Support STR 100. What a drive from the 72.
Absolutely, he went towards the back early on in this race, but once he made his way to the front, he had some of the best tires in the field and looked very comfortable. He kept the car clean. Did have a bit of damage, yes, for some of the contact amongst the drivers in the lead. But he was someone that let the drivers in front of him fight for him. He took advantage, took the checker flag tonight.
And what a job, because we talked about the comers and the goers, and we saw Cookson dominant early. Of course, we saw JJ Day take over. Other fast drivers, the likes of McCollum, looked like they were going to be the ones to beat, and turns out the only driver they couldn't catch was Kuhn, who was just better than everybody else when it mattered the most. And it comes down to a combination of things: staying out of trouble, conserving that race car, but most importantly, not making a mistake. Any bobble, and Cookson would have been absolutely on top of him, and instead Kuhn was good when it mattered the most, and he'll be celebrating under the fireworks.
Yes, absolutely. It was a picture-perfect end to the race. They're able to keep his calm, cool composure, and that in turn led to a good race victory to start the second annual Snowball Showdown.
Let's take a look top to bottom at tonight's LSR TV full race results. Ryan Kuhn is going to victory lane in night 1 of the second annual Snowball Showdown. Max Cookson comes home in second. Blake Near in third. We will chat with your top finishers trackside in just a moment. That'll be courtesy of tserverhq.com, the official TeamSpeak provider of the annual Snowball Showdown. But continuing on through down our running order, we do have Marcus Fruchtenich. What a drive. 24th to 4th. From all the way back of the grid to get a top 5. That'll be rounded out by Russell McCarron, who comes home in 5th. Joseph Ruggiero comes home P6. Justin Sluter in 7th position, along with Cody Hubred in P8. Aaron Plemons had quite a night. He'll finish in 9th. And John Ballew rounds out your top 10.
Jaden Dahlberg having a quiet race. He went +9, though, on the grid to 11th spot of the finish. Tyler Burden in 12th. Charles Laurie finished in 13th. Frank Morales in 14th, +7. Brad Near, he had a very quiet night at the back, finished in 15th. Rocky Boy III, one of the contenders early on, got involved in that big wreck. He finished 16th. Mitch Rollo finished 17th. The last car of the lead lap, though, was Brandon Holder in 18th position. JJ Day parked his car after the black flag and ended up along this line after that caution flag he drawn that signified the final restart. And Rob Slider, I should say, rounded out your top 20. Rest of the drivers: Alex McCollum 21st, Cameron Pressler in 22nd, Colton Ikes in 23rd, and Dallas Pataska rounded out the 24 drivers in the field who made it to the grid.
To look top to bottom at your LSR TV full race results from Five Flag Speedway. We will step aside for just a brief moment, and when we come back, we'll go trackside and talk with your top finishers. Post-race coverage is next. You're watching the second annual Snowball Showdown, presented by Murder Creek Distillery on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. And back live for the virtual Five Flags Speedway, where LSR TV's coverage of the second annual Snowball Showdown, presented by Murder Creek Distillery, kicked off tonight with night 1 of 5, right here on your home for sim racing and the iRacing Sports Network. Still plenty more to come this week as we welcome you back into LSR TV's coverage of the iSupport STR 100. Night 1 in the books. Evan Pasoko, Justin Prince, along with the director Hugo Louise with you. And Justin, what a race. It started early with your pole sitter Max Cookson in control. Thought that maybe it would be a he versus JJ Day situation. Day took the lead, looked dominant at times, but an incredible final 40 laps shuffled up the running order too many times to count. And Ryan Kuhn ends up on top of night 1.
Yeah, and Kuhn might have played the smartest race out of all of them. The way he handled it, yes, he went towards the back to try and refuel, but I think he had a sense of what was to come and wanted to make sure his car was clean for the right point at the right time. It also allowed him the chance to not necessarily have to push his equipment, just be able to save the tires and slowly creep his way up to the field rather than guys like Cookson, as well as many others who might have burned up their stuff trying to stay up inside the top 5 while they were bumping and banging using the chrome horn. So in the end, Kuhn just out-strategized everyone, had everyone fight his hard work for him, or his dirty work rather, and took the check flag.
And with that, let's head down to Five Flags Speedway Victory Lane, where we're caught up with night 1 winner Ryan Kuhn in the number 72 machine, who comes out on top in tonight's iSupport STR 100. Ryan, congratulations on the win. You know the car had speed. You started inside of the top 6, but admittedly, early in this one, it was some other names that were making the aggressive moves up front and beating and banging, and we thought that maybe that they would come down to them, but that played right into your strategy. That 72 car was perfect when it mattered the most.
Yeah, after I pitted, I took a few gallons of fuel, and I thought I was screwed at that point. Then I realized we could make it on fuel on 10 gallons, but all in all, it worked out in my favor. I restarted around 22nd and drove through the field, and that was a lot of fun driving through the field and tried to save my tires up till halfway, and then it was go time.
Of course, there was a point in this race where, you know, all the cars behind our race leader, I believe Day at the time, got involved in an accident, and that helped your march back up to the front of the field. So we had actually wondered when you made that trip down to pit lane if it was a decision to maybe to drop back intentionally to avoid any of that, but it sounds like it was an idea for you just to make sure that you were 100% certain on fuel.
Yeah, that was the plan, was for fuel. If it wasn't for fuel, I would have stayed up there, and probably was a good thing I went to the back, because I probably would have been caught up in that stuff, and that would have not been good and probably would have ended my night. But all in all, worked out great, and me and Max had a good race at the end. Me, Max, and Blake, a great race at the end, and all close quarters racing. We race with each other all the time on here, and we all had a blast. We all had a chit-chat after the race, and we admitted it was a really fun race.
Well, it certainly put on a show for everybody tuning in with us here on LSR TV and the iRacing Sports Network. So just outside of those final 10 laps, you make the bump and run to move Max up and out of the way. Blake kind of assisted him a little bit there. And then, of course, that final restart, you could see that Max had closed in, I think, at the white flag to just a car length. Were you pretty nervous going down into 3 and 4 on the last lap? Did he really try to send you?
I knew if I could get off of a cushion in front of him that he couldn't really get to me, and I was lucky enough to have a car length and a half right going into the last corner, and I knew if I drove it in pretty deep he couldn't get to me, and kept it on the bottom, and that's what I did, and it worked out.
I know it is just night 1 of this second annual Snowball Showdown, but you are in the money already as you walk away with a $75 payout for winning this iSupport STR 100. What does it mean for you to get this win, and what does this mean, I guess, for the rest of your week as well?
It gives me a confidence booster for sure, and I'm not so sure how we're gonna do tomorrow night. I currently don't have a setup yet, and I guess we'll see how that plays out. A couple of my buddies are making one for me now, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll be happy with a top 5 run tomorrow night, and hopefully, I feel like we have a good modified, we have a good late model, and we have a good super late model under our belt, and I expect to be up front and hopefully have a shot to win another one.
Those first official sessions for night 2 go up at 10 in the morning. So we'll let you get out of here so you can celebrate and get a good night's sleep as you get set for day 2 of this event. But Ryan, before we let you jet, the sponsors, the shout outs, all those good folks, who makes it happen for you?
Everett's Auto Parts is the main sponsor for next year, and I also thank Bernier's Liquors, Mod and Auto Body, for all they do in the real world racing, and can't wait for a great 2020 with all of them.
We appreciate the time again. Hey, congratulations on the win, and thanks for putting on a show. You take the checkered flag in the I Support STR 100, and if things go according to plan, maybe we'll catch up with you tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
It's your race winner from Five Flags Speedway in night 1 of the second annual Snowball Showdown, presented by Murder Creek Distillery. It is indeed the 72 of Ryan Kuhn in Victory Lane. Second part of that big battle, Justin Max Cookson started up front, looked real good. He's good enough for a second in night number 1, and your track side with the 39.
Yes, indeed. Now speaking alongside with Max Cookson here, you started towards the front, you stayed towards the front. How would you describe how your night went this evening in that mix of craziness inside that top 5?
Yeah, the race definitely played out kind of how I thought. I knew there'd be some guys that would, push really hard in the start, and I just tried to maintain track position, but keep enough tires on it to be able to do something.
I was about to ask about that actually, because some drivers were actually stacking up behind you, but once you lost the lead, it seemed like you went into saving mode in the long run. Was that the main strategy for tonight? And how do you feel those tires were helped out once you got to the end of the race trying to battle with Kuhn? Apologies there to re-ask the question. How do you feel the tire management helped out in terms of how the tires went on the long run, especially towards the end of the race?
Yeah, I mean, whoever was leading there or got by me there, I think it was the 98. He was pushing really, really hard. I think at one point he was out like a second, but we got that restored, and you could really see he'd kind of used up his stuff pretty bad, and raced hard with him. I got the lead back from him, and then Kuhn had saved just enough to get around me, and then we got that quickie yellow.
What was going through your head as the quickie yellow was going on, and once you got to what was essentially a 9-lap shoot-up, because it looked like you tried to send it at the end of the race in turn 3, just couldn't get close enough to even get a sniff of contact?
Yeah, I mean, we were going at it hard. That's how you race up front and race hard, and Rubbin's racing anything's more just unacceptable. But Kuhn fired off really good there. I kind of made a bobble that gave him like 2 car lengths, and I was kind of starting to get back to him there with about 5 to go, and just ran out of time too far back to make anything happen there.
Now, of course, the second place finish tonight. Of course, still a lot of action to go throughout the entire week. What does this run mean in terms of your confidence and momentum heading into day number 2 tomorrow?
I'm definitely feeling pretty good. I think I got strong cars for every class. Starting the weekend off with a P2, qualified in the pole. That's a good way to get it going.
Absolutely. How do you feel about your Pro Truck setup for tomorrow?
I'm feeling pretty strong about it. I know there's going to be some fast guys, some guys that can find stuff, but I think I got a pretty good piece going into it.
Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you get back to you and your team?
Yeah, big thank to BK Paints, GM Racing Series, Barber Ford, Glovebox Motorsports, and JB Lar and Associates.
Thank you very much once again for the time. Congratulations on second place tonight, Cookson.
Thank you, and thank you guys.
That was Max Cookson coming away second, your pole sitter. Heck of a run for him tonight, Evan.
It was, and you want to talk about, of course, Cookson running up front. A very different story for the driver who comes home in third position tonight. Now, trackside with the 14 of Blake Neer, who comes home on the podium and will pocket $25 at the I Support STR Sportsman Division race. Blake, congratulations on a good result. I guess if you had to say at the start of the night that you'd start 17th and finish P3, that you would have taken that one. But man, that car had some good opportunities late.
Yeah, I messed up in qualifying there, and I just got loose out of 4, so we kind of botched our lap there. So we had to start deep in the field, so I just going into it as saving tires as much as possible. I knew there would be a couple cautions, and I'd be able to find my way back up there, but just ran out of time, I think.
Of course, when it comes down to it, if you're in that position up inside of the top 3, I'm sure those final couple of laps will replay in your head so many times over. You, Max, and Ryan doing a battle. It certainly looked like that this car track combo was a ton of fun out there because you guys were certainly going at it no holds bar.
Yeah, the new tire is really awesome on these street stocks now. It just the wear and how the car changes over the run and stuff, but that last restart, the last restarts there, me and Cookson were working together there, so we were kind of just filing it line, trying to get back up to Kuhn there, but
well, it's still a good result for you, but it is only night 1 of this Snowball Showdown, so you end up in the money to begin with. I'm sure this has got to kind of set the mood for you as we get set for 4 more nights of action still coming up.
Yeah, I think I'll be running the next 2 nights, and then I think Cookson's running all of them. He should be pretty good tomorrow night, and then the mods, and then be up there in the front as well.
And, of course, everybody can catch those here on LSR TV and the iRacing Sports Network. The Dreamer Racing Series Pro Trucks tomorrow at 9, and then it is Modified Racing on Friday. Blake, we look forward to catching you in those before we let you go for tonight. Anybody you want to say hi to?
Just want to thank BK Paints, Dreamer Racing Series, Rubber Ford, Glovebox Racing, and JB Lar and Associates.
Well, we appreciate the time, Blake. Again, congratulations on the P3 this evening, and we'll see how the next 2 nights go for you, too.
All right, thank you, guys.
Big thanks right there to your third place finisher, driving the number 14 to Bashida Blake Neer. A big thanks to Blake, Max Cookson, and Ryan Kuhn, our top 3 finishers for night 1 of the Snowball Showdown, for giving us a little bit of time to chat with them. Again, this race, the I Support STR 100, brought to you by I Support STR, a Facebook page that specializes in promoting online short track racing, whether it's highlighting a dirt racer or helping promote an event like the Snowball Showdown. I Support STR lives for short track racing. So give them a like and help them out on Facebook today. And also a big thanks to all of our presenting sponsors, Barber Ford, DRS, TServerHQ.com, and Murder Creek Distillery. Justin, it was a very exciting night. And I'll tell you what, if that's night 1, the shortest and the least consequential, I guess, when you look at the purse, if these drivers were going to put on a show like that to win $75, just wait, because that Truck Series prize tomorrow night, $150 to the winner. The Modifieds on Friday, $200. Pro Late Models, $400 to the winner, and $1,000 to the winner alone of Sunday's Super Late Model main event. So if this is any indication of how this Snowball Showdown is going to go on, you're not going to want to miss a second of it here on the iRacing Sports Network.
Absolutely, because some of these drivers, ever since week 13 started and everyone got a chance to try out the V7 tires on some of these cars, they've been working on the setups for these races. There were pro truck drivers, including Cookson, working on these setups as early as last Thursday. These drivers know what is at stake and want a chance to win that big prize money, and it's going to be an absolutely competitive field because you thought tonight's race was stacked. Get ready until we get towards the later portions of the week because there are some big-time competitive drivers, including some real-world Snowball Derby competitors such as Carson Hocevar that we'll see throughout the entire weekend.
And it is only on the way up from here. Again, you can catch all 4 remaining nights of this Snowball Showdown right here on LSR TV and the iRacing Sports Network. That includes tomorrow at 9 Eastern, Friday at 7 Eastern, Saturday at 5, and Sunday afternoon at 1. Until next time, though, that's it for us here tonight from Five Flag Speedway for night number 1 of the 2nd annual Snowball Showdown presented by Murder Creek Distillery. On behalf of Iron Tire Team at LSR TV, I encourage you to follow us online at livesurracing.com. Like I said, at facebook.com/LSR TV official, and follow us on Twitter at LSR TV to stay up to date with everything happening with us on the network. Until next time, though, for myself, Evan Pasoko, Justin Prince, and our director, Hugo Louise, want to thank you for tuning in and congratulate Ryan Kuhn, who's the champion of the Street Stocks and the I Support STR 100. We'll catch you tomorrow night at 9 as we go truck racing for night number 2 in the DRS Pro Series 150, night 2 and every night of the second annual Snowball Showdown can be found right here at LSR TV and the iRacing Sports Network. Until then, good night from Pensacola.